Welcome back to another episode of Footy with the Boys, our weekend review. I am joined by Mike Tracy, joining us all the way from Hawaii. Mike, how are you feeling? Oh, you know
Uh,
what? It's a little quiet over there. The connection's not too great. We'll just move on to Nick. Nick, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling lonely because it's lonely at the top for the Gunners. Feeling fantastic.
Yeah, the result that got Arsenal to the top, certainly something that we'll talk about. But Arsenal back on top of the league, the Gooners in the front seat. There was a lot of action this weekend around that top spot. Some good, some bad for the contending teams. We'll get into it all, but we start with that game that put Arsenal at the top. It is Liverpool, Manchester United. Meh, wasn't
Meh.
that crazy of a game. 0-0 draw. I was assuming there'd be another, at least 3-0, something crazy. It's Manchester United who's been getting smacked around by Bournemouth and Copenhagen versus Liverpool who's been flying, and it's 0-0. Admittedly, give some credit to Eric Ten Hag. He made it an ugly game, played
Oh yeah.
non-attractive, sat back, didn't threaten that much, but he got the point, which is more than what a lot of people expect. So Nick, how much credit do you give to Eric Ten Hag for a result here? Although it's absolutely not what a Manchester United team should be going for, is to play ugly to get a draw.
Yeah, I mean, they had to. I think I talked about it in the preview. Like, you just gotta fucking shithouse your way to a point here, and I give them a lot of credit. It's Anfield. They say it's not an easy place to play, but that place was fucking quiet. So I think maybe Liverpool fans have gotten used to front running a little bit, but that's another thing. But yeah, again, big choice not to start Marcus Rashford in a big game. Probably your most dangerous attacker despite the shit form he's in. And Ten Hag, big balls, just coming in, shithousing his way there to a point. Him and Amrabat, the Bald Brotherhood, are just holding it down over at Manu.
Yeah, honestly, after a disappointing result, this is not something that Manchester United should celebrate because there is no world that a club like Manchester United should be celebrating a draw versus one of their rivals when they played like absolute ass and got dominated. But given their circumstances and how they've been playing, this is something that they can at least say, you know what, we held our own. But obviously, Eric Ten Hag being in three center defensive mids with Scott McTominay playing as the number 10 is certainly an interesting decision that I guess works out. And then Diego Dalot at the end said, "God damn it, I want a Christmas break." But Nick, that seemed really quick for two yellows. Really quick. It goes out, he goes screaming. He went crazy, admittedly. He went crazy. But the ref gives two yellows within 19 seconds. Is that way too harsh here?
Dude, not only too harsh, but like I think everyone has gotten to the point where like, hey, yeah, refs are shit. Like, let's just be consistently garbage. And so then like we know what we're dealing with. And in the first half, Darwin Nunez like tosses an elbow at Johnny Evans' face, boots the ball all the way down after the whistle, then yells at the ref, then starts clapping after he's given a yellow card. Like if we're not giving two yellow cards in that sequence, which by the way I'm not saying we should, but the Diego Dallo one is even stupider. So um, Michael Oliver did the same thing to Martinelli a couple, like I think a year ago now, two infractions in the same phase of play. He's got a little bit of a look at me in his refereeing, I think. I think he likes me in the story.
I think like referees, in my opinion, are not supposed to have a huge impact on the game. They're supposed to be making the calls that they need to, but not trying to go out of the realm of what a ref is usually doing that would alter or change the game. This one, yeah, it happened extremely late, so I wouldn't say it altered really much.
Yeah.
But to give two yellows that quick in any other circumstance other than being in the 94th minute certainly alters a game. way more than needed. If you give the yellow and just realize, okay, this guy is freaking out, give him the yellow and just let it move on. Nobody thinks twice of that. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, he threw his hands up twice though, so that's two yellows. Like, it's a crazy, crazy thing. But I think, obviously, like you said, there's other stuff that happened during that game that maybe frustrates him along the way. Can't let that happen. But
You gotta be
Liverpool,
able to manage like players and like you're not wanting to give red cards out there. Like you want the product of the league, you want it to be at a higher level. And Diego Dallo missing next game. I mean, like he's not that great, but for Man U's back line, he's as steady as it comes right now. So it's gonna feel like a big loss for Man U.
yeah. And me and you in this game, we say they did it, hold on. They should be somewhat proud of it, but they got absolutely dominated. Jurgen Klopp said they were more dominant in this game than they were in their 7-0 win, just didn't get the goals. And he may be onto something there. 34 shots. 34 shots in this game for Liverpool. Not a single goal. 8 of them on target. Almost 70% possession. It was absolutely dominant. But at the end of the day, they share the points. So it does not matter. Manchester United get that point just as well as Liverpool does. And you got to imagine that Liverpool's feeling a little upset because, like I said earlier, they are no longer at the top of the table after this result. It is Arsenal. And Arsenal picked up a big 2-0 victory versus Brighton. Some good goal scores to get on the board for Arsenal this week. Nick, run us through the game. What did you see? What did you like? A nice 2-0 clean victory here.
So I forgot to mention the preview last time, but they beat us 3-0 at home last year, and we beat them 4-2 on the road. But it was a tough game at home last year. They feel kind of like one of the boogeymans for Arsenal, kind of like Crystal Palace is for Man City, honestly. Um, but you know, this was a complete domination. Again, poor finishing lets us down in the first half. We should have at least had a 2 goal lead, with some chances missed there. But you know, we get the all important goal off a great corner by Saka. Jesus wide open in the back corner, and then Kai Havertz finishes it off late in the game. Who, by the way, is fucking flying right now. I love to see that man playing well. He looks so. I don't think we've ever signed a player that I did not think was going to work out, but that I wanted to work out more than Kai Havertz. And so it's been so like just so much satisfaction seeing playing well this past month. And you know, he got named the player of the month in November for Arsenal. I think I think he started to find his footing, and we're seeing the player that many thought he could be when he went to Chelsea. So
You just
ecstatic.
take Chelsea off of him.
Yeah, seriously. So Brighton got dominated. They created one chance in the entire game. And to be fair, they should have finished it to tie it, but we were all over them. It could have been a lot more. So fair play. It's a good win at home, and it takes us top of the table. And I still think Man City is the main challenger. So 5 points clear of Man City on the weekend where they drop points is pretty big.
Yeah, well, Nick, you mentioned Man City. You mentioned that their boogeyman is a bit of Crystal Palace. We mentioned that something could happen here. The panic bells would be ringing if they didn't get the win against Crystal Palace. And very, very late on, the panic alarm was hit with a 90th plus 5 goal, 2-2. They were up 2-0 in this game. Could not put it away, could not keep it away at 2-0. Another dropped game here in terms of not getting all 3 points. Nick, we talked about how Man City should be maybe a little weary. Panic bells are certainly ringing now, correct?
Yes, 100%. And you can sense it from Pep in their presser. Hey, by the way, did you see Rico Lewis did the post game interview? That's pretty fucking shambolic from Man City to be sending out the 19-year-old after or 18, however the fuck old he is. To be sending him out after a tough result and a string of tough results feels like there's not really I can't really point to a guy that can step up for Man City right now, like a real leader. Don't get me wrong, they're filled with quality, but even even with De Bruyne back, like who's that guy who takes his
That's the
team by the neck and just tells them, "Let's go." So I think they're lacking some leadership, which is a big issue. I think Rodri's that guy on the field. I don't know how much he is off the field. Um, I don't know, man. This there is real alarm bells going off. The leadership is bad there, I think. Pep, I think, look is frustrated as he should be. The lineup wasn't even horrible. It was good to see Rico Lewis start, Jack Grealish, third game in a row bagging a goal. But you got they just do not even look anywhere near what they were last year when they won the league and the champs as well. So I'm pretty worried. Where are you at, Flags?
I mean, I think they've just this is a factor of just their summer. They let so many players go, and they thought that they were replaceable. Mahrez they let go, Gundogan they let go. I mean, they replaced them with players. Yes, that like Doku. He's been a good addition, but he's not necessarily a Mahrez. They have Kovacic, who's a good midfielder, but is not the same as a difference maker that Gundogan was. And I think it's showing that they just don't have those same pieces that they were molding and working with for so long. I think Gundogan was one of those people that could lead the team in that
Mhm.
midfield.
Yeah,
They're
he's their
obviously
captain,
missing,
bro.
yeah, they're missing KDB. They're just missing, and they're throwing in so many people in the defense that I don't think they have any type of continuity there, and they're not that rock solid where they're getting great results. Gavardiol for 100 million came in, and he has not been a $100 million signing. It's just not all there. Man City is still an extremely good team. They're still filled with quality, but they're not to where they should be based off their quality, based off their coaching, based off how they want to play. They seem a step behind of where they want to be. In Crystal Palace, I think saw that there's blood in the water, and I think that's a huge part of all this as well. Is that people notice Man City's not the same beast that they were. It's like once the first man ran that 4 minute mile, then a bunch of people shortly after do it. Once you see that Man City can be beaten, can be drawn, all these other teams have that belief. It's a psychological effect that I think is really hurting Man City, where people aren't playing just scared and sitting back so much. They're actually willing to go attack and get a goal back in these games.
What do you think about Man City fans booing this team?
All five of the real Man City fans, if they're booing, go ahead. Like
Pep asked for more noise, bro.
all the rest of the fans, like most of their fans are completely just coming in off the oil money and bringing in extreme players and winning their bandwagoners. So I don't really. It's expected from them. I don't think they have like a real fan base that understands what they have, that would understand, hey, we were nothing and now this is amazing. We have the best coach, we have whatever. I saw people saying Pep out, and I was like, that is the stupidest thing that I've ever seen a fan base say to get rid of the greatest manager of all time, potentially. So
You think Man City fans are like the BMW drivers of soccer?
I just don't even know what that
I like
means. Just yeah, I can't
It's
even
just
come
like
close to comprehending what the fuck you're trying to say right
that's all
now.
right. I understand that my intelligence is too high sometimes.
Yeah, maybe.
high
Mike,
IQ
thoughts?
individual. Yeah, Man City is just Man City. They are a just a very interesting team here. Uh, they
I
really
still think they're the main
great.
title contenders.
I think it's Liverpool at this point. I think yeah, it's only 4 points between the two, but I just think Liverpool, although obviously got the draw against Man U today, have looked
Liverpool
consistently good.
Liverpool looked really good to start the season. This past like 3-4 weeks, they haven't looked as good. Like some of the results were pretty Remember that 4-3 where it took four wonder goals? Like I don't know. I think I'm still more scared of City because I know that when they click, they're still as good as anyone, if not better.
Yeah, I mean, I think once KDB gets back, I think that's when you have to really evaluate them of where they're at because KDB is potentially the best player in the Premier League, so you can't really just
If
look the
you're
other way on that one.
if you're Pep, what are you looking for in January? Are you trying to bring someone in or
I mean, I don't, I don't.
like
Who are
who's
you?
out there?
You have so many players. You have like 115 FIFA financial fair play. Do you want to keep breaking it to bring in a random player? Like you brought in Nunez, you're not using him. You have all these players. You just need to make it work. Like at a certain point, if Pep Guardiola is the best manager and he can't make it work with all the players he has there that are already above most other teams' level, you can't say that you're the best manager. Like you can't say all these things. Like you can't just constantly bring in the best player to replace people and act like that's the only solution. Just tactically, you have to start getting it right here and not be able to be throwing these games away.
Sounds like you're Pep out.
I'm fully Pep in. I say Pep out of Man City, and he can be an assistant to Sean Dyche at Everton. There,
Facts,
he will
yeah.
change the world there. But enough about Man City. The panic alarms are ringing, but there is plenty going on everywhere else. And one of those teams that is taking advantage of those alarm bells is Aston Villa. They they made it late in this one to get the winner here, to even get the leveler. But 2-1 to Brentford. They beat the Bees. The Bees are not buzzing. Ollie Watkins, absolute class of a striker. He has been such a great player for them this season. But very importantly, they are absolutely flying. Tied with Liverpool on points, only behind on goal differential for third in the table, and they are on some fine, fine form. Nick, Aston Villa pulls us out. They have some players that are really great in form. Do you see them continuing this, or how long can they continue this form?
They weren't the better team today. Not until that red card happened. Like they were getting diced on counters by Brentford, who have a very pacey front three. The way those fullbacks like just bomb forward leaves a lot of space. And I think like Thomas Frank was able to expose that stupid red card by Ben Mee. Honestly, like the contact wasn't that bad, but he did go in studs up. Like they just got lucky that he didn't snap a leg or actually hurt him. But like I understand the red card. I don't love it. So no, I don't see Aston Villa doing this. You know me. It takes a lot to a lot. There has to be serious actual potential to be a title contender for me to say you're a title contender. Villa's not one of them. They're a great story. They're a really good team. Maybe they can do a surprise top four, but um, no, I don't see it continuing. They shouldn't have won this game. By the way, they're their first road game of the like onslaught of games that they've had. They won 15 in a row at home. You got to win road games. But if you're gonna play devil's advocate, they found a way to win today with the red card. Got 2 goals despite Ollie Watkins celebrating like an absolute fucker. Oh my god, did you see that?
The celebration?
Yeah, dude, he like scored and then ran into Brentford's net and just started staring down a fan of Brentford. And then like four more guys join him in there. So like Brentford obviously goes to get them out of the fucking net, and then I don't remember who it was, but someone just started choking one of the Brentford players. Like it was insane. He put
I
like
like
his
that's
arm.
great.
It was nuts. I can't believe there wasn't a red card there. But yeah, they did get two goals to get it, and against a team like Brentford, even with 10 men, it is a good result.
Yeah, it is some firepower to get the goals. I think is the thing that you can take from this as an Aston Villa fan is they were given an opportunity by that red card and they took it with both hands, scoring those goals. They have the firepower to get goals. We know that they score like crazy. So I think positive for Aston Villa. We'll see how far they can go with this. I mean, if they continue going, we're at 17 games in. We are pretty far in. There may be a point where they could be top of the table 20 games in. Next game for Arsenal and Liverpool is against each other. A draw there and an Aston Villa win. You're looking at a league leader, Aston Villa. All I'm saying, listen, all I'm saying,
30 games. 30 games, if they're still hovering there, I'll say they're a title contender. Until then, they're nowhere
that
near.
seems late to say, to just admit then.
No. That's 8 games, 24 point swings. That is a lot of time left in the season.
All right, all right. We say one of our other title contenders, Wolves. That's a producer note there. Did not get the
Best team
greatest
in the
results
league.
here, but I will say West Ham has used that Declan Rice money very well. Kudus is a player. He is a hell of a player. Got the brace here. Jarod Bowen putting a little cherry on top at the end of this one. But Nick, pretty is this one of the best transfers in terms of money spent from the player and the money spent for the player that you can remember with Declan Rice, 100 million for Arsenal and that 100 million being spent at West Ham on some pretty good players?
Yeah, I guess. I can't really think of anyone else, I suppose. So, I mean, it's really just been. I mean, Edson Alvarez has been okay. Mavropanos has been holding bench since he's got there. But Kudus just the way he's been on form these past 5 or 6 weeks makes it feel that way. He's really fucking good. He's a game changer, and you pair him and Paqueta and Bowen, like that is a dangerous front three. If they can figure out a true like nine, that'd be something really scary to see, like a real focal point that can play off of these guys. Um, West Ham's still super inconsistent, but this shows that like they have the potential to be a top six kind of team. That's the kind of talent they have in their attacking part of the squad. Um, I don't think they'll finish top six, but hell of a game by Kudus.
Yeah, I mean they have certainly the potential. They are just streaky. If they can
Yeah.
get consistent performances from everybody on their team, I mean, the talent they have that they've brought in and that they already had is top six worthy. They could certainly get that like on their day. I would say they can beat Manchester United, and I would not blink an eye at that.
Yeah, I think
Newcastle, I
on
think.
their day they can compete with anyone in like from Tottenham to Man U. I could see them competing against all of those teams.
I mean, when we saw them when they were flying towards the start of the season, it was very much so. They could be one of those top teams.
They're 2 points out of top six right now. Like it's not like it's impossible for them to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they just need a run of form. Obviously, have been a bit up and down as of recent, but yeah, certainly something to look for there. Wolves, not on the greatest form as of recent. Kind of need to find that fire form that they had a couple weeks ago when they were winning and winning and winning. Now they've had a pretty rough stretch, but still find themselves obviously very safe, 10 points above the relegation zone, which is what they are fighting early on, and no longer have to worry about that, especially with the three that are in there now. But we get to one of the teams that's a little bit closer down there for no damn reason other than the Premier League is corrupt. And the one team that is in there, or not Luton, Burnley. It is Burnley Everton, and Everton in this game are, man, they just looked amazing. Sean Dyche has this team playing very well. Onana just absolutely climbed the ladder to get that header and put it in for that opening goal. Michael Keane cleaning up shop and dropping it in for the second. After that, I mean, it was just game management the rest of the way and just a lot of possession. There was a lot of chances for Everton to get goals here. They just played very well. Sean Dyche just has mastered the game here, going against his former team, and just he does not need the ball, and he will still win. And Everton now 4 wins in a row. We should just start the season with a 10-point penalty, and then we will win the league. Sean Dyche does not care about a 10-point penalty, but Nick, if Everton did not have that 10-point penalty, they would find themselves in the same spot as Brighton in ninth place. I mean, with the form that they're on, Brighton obviously not in the greatest form. If they didn't have these 10 points gone, I wouldn't put it against them to get into like a seventh in the league table spot. I think they've been in better form than West Ham. They've been better form than Brighton. Chelsea better form. Manchester United is such an enigma. If they don't have this 10-point penalty and we're seeing them up there, where are you saying they might end up?
Yeah, they just don't have enough quality. I love Everton. I love watching you guys ride with them. I love riding with you guys. Amadou Onana is how the fuck that dude is on Everton, I
Hell
have
of a
no
player.
idea. He is so good, so classy on the ball. I love seeing him and Garner together. That has to be the pivot from now on. I know Idris Gay, a veteran presence in there, but he is nowhere near the same player as either of those guys, honestly. So you know, I'd still put them around 10th. I think on their day, Chelsea's still better than them. Um, I think that yeah, I don't know. They don't have the same like creative talent that a team like even West Ham or Brighton, maybe not Brighton. I can see them above Brighton, but um, there's just a little bit of quality that's missing there. That being said, Sean Dyche, what he's doing with this team is working wonders. Like I think honestly, the 10-point deduction might have helped them with the shot in the arm that it fucking gave them because they're playing like they have something to prove. And just what a player. Also, hey, by the way, Lewis Dobbin. I like that guy. He's like, what is he
Yeah.
like, 18, 19? He's a good little pacey, good dribbler. Nice to see him get some minutes. So yeah, it's good to be a toffee for sure.
Yeah. I think with Deitch's system, playing a little bit pissed off, a little wronged, just plays into exactly how he wants to play. Yeah, I do think that if Everton, and I'm not sure where they're really thinking with the the penalty and everything that's gone on, what they're thinking of financial moves. If they were to bring in somebody who was a creative attacker for that 10 role, now I know Decore's been scoring goals and putting up numbers there. If they were to bring in somebody who just had that refinement for the attacking side, I think Everton can not just be riding fine form, but actually be a team that really is a complete team that people would fear more so than a great system with players that are working well in it. Um, but we'll see what Everton does. They are on some fine form, some of the best form in the league, and that 10-point penalty is just nothing to them now. They have absolutely crushed it. So they are pretty safe from that relegation spot that they were thrown into by that corruption there, working their way up and up the table here. But for another team that was working their way up on some fine form, 2-5-0 victories, womp womp, did not happen this week because of a Raul Jimenez early red card. Just absolutely jumped through a Newcastle player with his ass just straight into the guy. It was a really stupid red card to just jump through the man full force, got the red card off of it. 22 minutes in, Nick, is there what do you do if you're Fulham and you're down a man 22 minutes in versus a Newcastle team that you certainly needed everybody to pull out a result here?
I mean, nothing. You lose 3-0. Like that's what you do. They didn't stand a chance. Raul Jimenez does that dude's face like imprinted on his ass. God damn, he jumped into him. But I mean, you got nothing. You had a very slim chance going into it. Marco Silva pissed after the game, talking about how the refs are favoring Newcastle at St. James. Hey, Marco Silva, why don't you listen to Footy with the Boys? Because we could have told you that ages ago. But you know, I guess nice for Lewis Miley or whatever that kid's name is. Got his first goal, and he seems to be promising in the midfield, playing a lot. So, um, yeah, I can't really tell that much from either team from this game. The red card kind of fucks the whole thing up. Newcastle, a professional result.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to take from it on either side. I think the one thing you can take from it is that Raul Jimenez has to just be smarter in that situation. It was not a situation where he needed to make a challenge there. He just
No.
jumped through. It was at like the halfway line on the edge of the pitch, like near the outline, and he just jumps through the man. There's no reason for that. You get a red card. You've been in fine form scoring. You're now out for the next game. You certainly lose that game because it's in the 22nd minute, and you ruin that momentum where you had the 2-5-0 results. It's a tough red card there. It definitely hurts Fulham moving forward. But yeah, once that red card comes out in the 22nd minute, you can't expect that much more from it. But Another question of can you really take much from this game? It was Chelsea this weekend versus Sheffield United. Chelsea win 2-0, but it's against Sheffield United. Nick, is there anything to take from this other than Cole Palmer continues his fine form?
Yeah, I've been I went from hating the whole Cole Palmer thing to being okay with it to shitting on him for having 4 PKs to I think he's a pretty good player now. He seems to be at the center of everything good that's happening for Chelsea. And he's also maturing. Like you can see him get better every week. So I think they have a good player there. Um, God, I hate seeing Nicholas Jackson score. Um, he's just not a good player, and to think that if Chelsea had a real striker, how much higher they could be. But 2-0 against Sheffield, good job, I guess. I don't know. You're still what, 10? Whatever. They're I'm not gonna take them serious. Can't take anything from a game against the relegated teams.
Yep. I think this is going to be a massive disrespect to Nico Jackson and his level, but Nico Jackson is kind of like the question of if you were played in every single Premier League game, how many goals could you score? And I mean, he misses a lot of shots that I would say the average actual soccer player could just knock in pretty easily. And he's also scoring some of these goals where it's like, okay, yeah, anybody would score that. So disrespectful question, but maybe that answers it here. If you just played every single game up top, how many goals could you score? But we move on to another game that we did not preview much, didn't expect much from. Play wise, was not anything too crazy. But the big headline here in Bournemouth versus Luton, it was suspended at 1-1. Tom Lockyer's on field collapses. That suspends the game. He is in a stable condition now, was responsive. Same thing happened in the championship playoff last year for him. Had a heart surgery, now happening again. Nick, what do you think happens? Do they finish this game or how are they? Have you seen anything about how they're going about it?
No, they haven't. They gave like an update during the Man U Liverpool game, and they said like nothing's been announced yet. But I haven't seen anything since. Like super happy he's doing okay. Rob Edwards, the Luton manager, class act out there. He immediately ran onto the field, stopped everything, then like applauded the fans afterwards with the rest of his team. Um, for like showing a kind of respect to the situation. I get he's your captain. I get he's probably one of your better players, but dude, you got to retire. I think this is beyond scary for 2 cardiac arrests in what 6 months.
Yeah.
Um, ugh, I'd be terrified like seeing him out there if he ever comes back. So praying for his health. And I think it might be time to hang it up.
Yeah, I just think with something so serious, with a cardiac arrest on the field, and it happening more than once, it's obvious that whatever they did to try and fix it before did not work, or is at least not working long term. So it'd be hard to believe that they can absolutely figure it out and make it permanent again with it happening twice now. But glad to hear that he's all right. He's doing okay after that. Obviously, a scary scene there, and honestly, it's something we've seen too many times with like an example of Ericsson in the Euros as well. So glad that it's worked out well there. We'll see what happens with this game. We'll obviously cover it here on the pod. See what happens in terms of finishing this one up. Obviously, both teams can you know not really care too much about finishing this game and more so about the players' safety there. But moving on to Nick, do you have something?
Yeah, just real quick, shout out to me. I said Bournemouth wouldn't win. They did not.
I mean,
Hey,
he's not wrong.
So
technically
hey,
that is still TBD. Technically, it's still TBD. But yeah, maybe Nick can give us a full rundown on that once the game is decided on what happens. But don't take Nick's word on that for the moment. Our last game of the weekend, I believe, here is Tottenham versus Nottingham Forest. Matt Turner back in the net again. Richarlison, another goal for Spurs. He is in some good form here. first goal that Tottenham scores against Matt Turner, absolutely nothing he can do. It's a header that both center backs allow Richarlison right in between them and gets a header from 3 yards out. Yeah, no keeper is really going to be saving that one. The second one though, Matt Turner played back the ball, bouncing ball, dribbles it away from the attacker, kicks it out, and goes straight to Kulusevski. He dribbles it in, smashes it near post. Certainly not great for Matt Turner. The only thing you could say is positive is that the other keeper that they did have was letting in like 5 goals a game and making mistakes. So, eh, who knows what happens there? But Matt Turner not necessarily covering himself in much glory during this game. Uh, but another stupid red card by Tottenham. Last time they should have gotten a red card, didn't get it, and it was a stupid one by Romero. This one, Basuma, just it was not an important tackle. It was not anything crazy. It was just he put his studs up into the man's shin on a random challenge in the 70th minute up 2-0. It just seems like Tottenham has these players that go in so recklessly into some challenges with the studs up without thinking of these things. Nick, do you think that's a culture problem there? If we're seeing this now a lot of times where they've gone in studs up, sometimes they get lucky without a red, but now it's becoming an issue where you already have injury issues. You can't have suspensions like this.
Yeah, I do think it's a problem. I think it shows how unserious this Tottenham team is. They're going to be going 100 miles per hour regardless of the situation. The game's over. 2-0. Nottingham's not doing much. The fuck are you doing, man? Like, it's stupid. I don't think the Romero one reflects anything about Tottenham. I just think Romero's a fucking shithead who isn't really a soccer player, just tries to bully people out there. Belongs on probably a Newcastle team. Um, I think he's a moron. This one I think is a little bit shows a little bit of a bigger problem. So, you know, it's bad, but a good result for Tottenham. They'll take the 2 points. You still
Three
have
points.
Højbjerg on the bench. Sorry, the 3 points. You'll take the 3 points. You have Højbjerg on the bench. I don't know who they play next week, but it's going to be that much harder.
Yeah, just losing him and in the way. But who they play next week is Everton. So a man out of their midfield. We love it.
Yeah.
What we don't love is Richarlison really finding some form here. Obviously, was not doing too hot at the start of the season. Now, finally, Tottenham find another person who can score. And Kulusevski has been not the stepfather, but the father that stepped up here for Tottenham. Once James Madison left, he came right in as in about 3 or 4 weeks after that injury, but came right in and finally kind of started picking up some bit of the slack that Madison had left behind with that injury. But it was also a great weekend for our Americans, other than Matt Turner with that mistake, with Pulisic getting an assist. Musa was being rested due to muscle fatigue, but Milan were flying in a 3-0 victory. Got the assist, almost had an absolute wild left footed curler that was bounced off the crossbar and bounced down and almost in. Should have had another assist to Jarod potentially as well, but an assist now puts him, I believe, at 6 goals and 4 assists on his season so far. So he is absolutely crushing it over there in Milan. Speaking of crushing it, PSV, Dest with a goal. They were up 3-0 within 22 minutes today off of Dest's goal that got that third one. And who other to assist it other than Malik Tillman? I am telling you, Malik Tillman is a crazy special player. He didn't just get that assist, but he was dicing people up. He is a crazy good number 10. I think between him and Gio Reyna, especially with the injuries that happen all around the American national team, Tillman is going to be a big part of this team moving forward. He is a very, very good player. I think he showed that versus Arsenal in the Champions League, but certainly has been showing it a lot for PSV. Chris Richards starting again for Crystal Palace, and he gets the draw versus Manchester City, and he was going up against the midfield of Rodri, Rico Lewis, and Foden. So hats off to him. He's getting some real games here and some real game time after potentially being in the mix for a January move after not playing for so much of the first half of the season. And finally, Nick, this is where I need to ask you a question here. With the reports that Gio Reyna has fired the Wasserman agency, his sports agent, and looking for a new one, where is his best landing spot? He's obviously looking for then a move. Where do you see him? What league? What team? Maybe? What system do you think fits Gio Reyna best? Because when he's on the field for Dortmund, he is showing he is a special player, but he does not get on the field for them.
Yeah, I think he ends up somewhere in Italy. I think he would thrive there, kind of like a slower pace of game, and he has the technical ability to speed it up a little bit. So I think it'd be a good spot for him. I don't know if he fits into the Milan side, but that'd be fucking sick.
That
I
would be.
don't see him as a Prem player. I think he's just a little too physical. He's proven himself to be injury prone, at least early on in his career. So I would want to see a more consistent run out of games from him before he goes to a team in the Prem. Um, but yeah, I think it's clear he wants to move, right? You don't fire your agent unless you're angling to get out of there. So I hope he goes somewhere good. I'm sure we'll talk about it whenever it does happen. I do think it'll happen in January, which will be nice, at least alone, I think. Um, yeah, I don't know. Where do you think he ends up?
I know there's reported interest from all five of the top leagues. I think, like you said, I think Italy is a good spot for him. I think just based off of the American success that has been there with Awaya, with a McKennie, with Pulisic, Musa, there's a bit of a proven roadmap for him there. Where he fits into those teams, I don't think he goes into a Juventus that does not fit his style of play unless they really want to just let Gio Reyna make that a more attacking team. Milan, I could definitely see him being that 10 because Ruben Loftus-Cheek has been playing the 10 and he's just not really a 10 himself. So I think he could potentially go there and make a full American trio there. I think that might push Musa out of the midfield though. It'd be a battle between Musa and Reinders then for that last spot. Potentially an Inter Milan playing under the two strikers. I don't know, but I think Spain could also be a good spot for him. It would just be about the fit of a team there, with a good enough team for him to fit into. Because I don't know if there's that many teams there that would be playing enough possession for Gio Reyna.
Yeah,
But
Spain
that
plays
was
really
I
fast,
think,
bro.
huh?
Spain plays like super fast. I don't know if that's Gio's. I don't think he would fit as well in a place like that. I think if everything's fast around him, he kind of gets overrun a little bit. But when there's like time for him to make stuff happen, he makes stuff happen every single time, which is why I think Italy would be good. So, um, by the way, hey, I know it's not going to happen, but Malik Tillman would have been the perfect 10 for Everton. Like the
He is.
size, the technical ability, uh, he has more work rate than a guy like Gio Reyna. So sad that didn't happen, but would have been cool.
Yeah. He also is crazy at headers. Like at
I know, yeah,
Rangers
he
last year,
exactly.
he was playing striker half the time for them just because he would get up for headers. And obviously with Everton crossing in quite a bit. Listen, give
That's
me Gio Reyna, give me Malik Tillman, give me either of them, and I'll be pretty happy. They're both some special players. The U.S. has a lot of talent coming up, so hopefully they can continue to develop and get the playing time they needed, like Malik Tillman is getting right now. But that is it for our U.S. men's national team corner right now. Now we move into our last segment of the day. It is pour one out. We'll be pouring one out for somebody either positively or negatively. And Palmer, I will start with you.
I will be pouring one out for the Washington Commanders. Um,
Big footy fan here.
big football fan. Uh, I picked them to win tonight. They just happened to lose to the Rams, and this marks the death of my fantasy career for the season. I don't think I have any chance to come back against the rest of my family. So that is just that's just a tough look.
Whole lot of interesting things to dissect there. One, you betting on a 4-10 team with your season on the line. Two, you saying your career for the season is done, which just does not make any sense. But that is to be expected if you're betting on the Washington Commanders.
My
I
my
can't talk
family
much so.
my
I am a
family
Packers
calls
fan.
them the Enigma. That's like our name for them because they seem to win games that they should not win and lose games that they definitely should. They're always shit, but
They're always shit, but they're giving it a
so,
good go.
so yeah, sometimes they'll surprise you. I was hoping this would be
See,
one of those.
yeah, well, that's what happens. Unfortunate, we pour one out for Palmer's fantasy career for the season. But Nick, who are you pouring one out for this week?
I have a couple. First one, pouring out for David Alaba, who I think tore his ACL, out for the season. Tough look. He's had some injury issues in the past, so um, hope this isn't like the start of the end for him. But honestly, that's a pretty long injury, so feels like it might be. So quick recovery. Hope he comes back at full strength, the same player that he was. And my other one, a more positive note, is for Kai Havertz. 4 goals now. He has more goals than the entire Manchester United front line. He had a lot of doubters coming to Arsenal. Um, and for a couple games, he made those doubters look right. But he's finding his form now. He has been, aside from Declan Rice, who is quickly becoming my favorite Arsenal player ever. Kai Havertz has been just, I mean, one of the more consistent performers this past month. He's shockingly good defensively, um, and not afraid to fucking stick his foot in somewhere. And now that the goals are coming, he's looking more confident on the ball. Pour one out for Kai Havertz. He deserves it. He's gotten a lot of disrespect, maybe rightfully so, but right now he deserves love.
Bro, he
Yeah,
looks like
I
they aren't
think
feeding him.
Dude, it's
he's
a profile flex.
he's hungry for wins, and he's starved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
starving for that title. But
yeah.
honestly, I think this is just a pouring out for Chelsea as well. When you're saying Kai Havertz, because he had to take some time to get that Chelsea rust off of him, but him along with so many other Chelsea players that left are on just insane form. Like Ruben Loftus-Cheek looks like an absolute tank in Serie A. Pulisic has been killing it. Kai Havertz is killing it. Uh, Tamori, that's 2 years, 3 years moved, but he's looking insane at center back for Milan. Like when you leave Chelsea, that is a career boost right there. And Kai Havertz, not only leaving Chelsea, but going to a team like Arsenal that are able to play attacking football, that can play complementary football to what he is good at. He's gonna start cooking. He has been cooking. And as a doubter from him at the start, I was proved right for the first like 5 or 6 games. Certainly being proven wrong now, and you love to see it because he was a special player at Leverkusen. But that goes directly into what my pour one out for is. I am pouring one out for out of respect to the Invincibles that we have in Europe still this far into the season. We have two Invincible teams. Uh, not this random 2021 movie that is being pulled up, but the Invincibles. Arsenal did it for a full season. Right now, through 16 games in the Eredivisie, PSV has 16 games played and 16 games won with an average goal, like a winning margin of more than 3 goals per game. They are absolutely murdering everybody. They already have, I think, a 10-point lead over the next team in terms of Feyenoord. They are just wildly, wildly good. Look at that goals for, goals against, 56-6. A 50 goal differential is absolutely wild. Obviously, through to the knockouts of the Champions League as well. And Americans playing a huge part of that with Pepe, Malik Tillman, and Sergio Dest. But that's not the only invincible, although it is the only perfect invincible. We also have one with Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga. They have 0 losses so far, only 3 draws, and they sit atop the Bundesliga table. Xabi Alonso is certainly going to be poached by Real Madrid to be their next manager.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness, Bayer Leverkusen is on some fine form here, Nick.
I'm not going to try to spell that.
Search Xabi Alonso. I'm sure it'll pop up. But actually,
That's
that's probably
probably
harder to spell for you.
yeah.
Alonso
You got
Ball.
Nevertheless, Bayer Leverkusen is absolutely killing it. So is PSV. Absolutely pour one out to them. Invincible seasons, about halfway ish through, going into the holiday break. So, any last words, Nick, before we end this Sunday review?
Anfield, I'm not fucking scared of you, bro. You did not show up today. Bring me Liverpool. Let's get a firm grip on first place heading into the new year. So bring me Liverpool. I feel confident. Hopefully we find a little bit more finishing up the Arsenal.
All right, clip that for next week's episode. And I will say, bring me Tottenham. They are not at all the same team as Liverpool, but god damn it, let's put these toffees up to the test. And it's gonna be a real clash with some crazy Ange ball versus Shandike ball. Let's go. Let's get it, baby. Let's go toffees. Until next time, though, we will preview those on Tuesday. See you then.
Peace.